Hello. So we're gonna go over Blood Death Knight, tank, rotation, and defensives. So I think the best place to start is the threat rotation. So pre-pull, you want to do two blood boils. Ideally, like 5 seconds before, already do two blood boils. This is in order to have your blade barrier up before pull, because that's an extra 5% damage reduction, as I note it down here. And after that, once we go on pull, you are going to use your blood tap. Blood tap into 3 icy touches, empower rune weapon, 3 icy touches again, 2 plague strikes, 2 blood strikes. This is in order to assure that you have full threat on the boss and also you have blade barrier up. And then you rinse and repeat, 2 icy touches, 2 plague strike, 2 blood strike. And if you feel like you need to heal yourself up, you have to make sure both of your diseases are on the boss or on your target, and use Death Strike, which will consume uh, Frost and Unholy. So we'll see soon here what I'm talking about. So as soon as we pull, I'm going to do two. There we go. I did the two blood boils. I have my blade barrier up, and I'm spamming taunt. Once after spamming taunt, I'm gonna do three icy touches. Empower rune weapon, three icy touches, and then I'm just gonna keep rinsing and repeating. So another thing to mention is the times in this first phase of LOD when you can use a defensive is probably when the shamblings come up, because either the healers are moving or you're just taking an unreasonable amount of damage. So when the first shambling comes up, you can use like a vamp blood, and then when the second shambling comes up, use a vamp blood again. Like, it's just good practice because there's a lot of movement in this first phase. So it's gonna be a problem if you're just inactive with your defensives. So being proactive is one of the most important things of playing DK tank. So I don't do it here, but then if I'm lower geared, or if I'm using a low gear DK, I'd probably do that. I'm just rinse and repeating my threat. As you see, my threat's pretty far off from the first person. And we can probably go a little faster here. Probably more. So I'm just gonna keep rinsing and repeating. I have full faith in my healers here. So ideally here, when the shambling comes up there, as you see, there's a shadow trap that comes up here. Now, 100% of the time, if your healers are especially new, they're going to be moving for this trap. So it's better to just get ahead of the pack and pop a defensive here. It's just good practice. And then we phase out here. Now for the ragings, it's just the same rotation. If you have blood tap up, you can use blood tap as well to ensure that you have threat on the incoming raging. So you just do two icy touches, two plague strikes, two blood strikes, and just keep rinse and repeating. That should be, if you get it as soon as it's if you do the rotation as soon as the raging spawns, you'll have enough time for your icy touch to be on cooldown for the next raging. So you just have to be quick on it. So I see the raging there. I already spam my icy touch on it, and I'm good. Next one comes up. See, my icy touch is up. Never gonna lose threat, regardless of if there's an MD or TOT. You always have blood tap. Convert that blood rune to a free death rune. So we come in. You have to be quick here. As soon as we phase in, if you noticed, I noticed that it's a really big problem with the tax holding the Raging here, where they try to wait for whatever's happening to go in the middle. But the best thing to do here is just run straight into the middle. Like, disregard whatever's happening and just run straight to the middle. So that the DPS is already in position to stack, to transition to Lich King. And here, it's a bad stack. So we just spread out. So I think after this, I'm gonna taunt the boss. So there, I taunt the boss. And Soul Reaper's coming up in 5. You'll see that I'll use Vamp Blood here, Blood Tap, Vamp Blood. So that it went perfectly there. So now we can move on to the defensives. As you saw, my first defensive was Blood Tap and Vamp Blood. Now, if you're a little lower geared and you're not closer to BIS, it's always good if you have it available, use the Cindy Fan along with these, just to be sure that you reduce as much damage from when the Soul Reaper explodes. Because there's a lot of damage that comes in when Soul Reaper explodes, so you want to negate as much damage as you can. And the reason why also we use Cindy Fang along with this, it's in line with the timer of how long your next Vamp Blood will be. Both of it's 1 minute on a 1 minute cooldown, so it'll just be in line with it. And make sure whenever you pop a defensive, you pop it 2 seconds before. So you can do Vamp Blood and Blood Tap 2 seconds before. When the Soul Reaper comes in, you can pop your Fang so that when Soul Reaper explodes, you negate a lot more damage of when that Soul Reaper explodes. So next, depending on what your gear is here for the second Soul Reaper, you can use IBF if you're a little lower geared. So you'll use IBF 2 seconds before, and then once the Soul Reaper comes in, you'll use AMS with that. So the AMS will again, it'll block the explosion, and you want to negate that damage because that's when it hurts. And then after Lich King gets a melee haste. So if you get to negate the explosion, it's gonna give your healers more time to be able to heal you, rather than them being scared of your health just rubber banding from 100 to 10, 100 to 20. So there, I pop both there. So the third Reaper, it's still the same. You'll do Blood Tap, Vamp Blood. And now, after the third Reaper, you probably won't have any more defensive. So you better call out for Pain Suppression here. And then that's where you use your AMS. That's ideally where I use my AMS. Call for Pain Suppression, use AMS as soon as the Soul Reaper comes in. And then it should be fine. So that's pretty much it. So, just some things to consider. Like I mentioned, when you use Death Strike, make sure you have both of your diseases on the current target. And next is keeping Blade Barrier up 100% of the time. If you notice, I rarely drop it here. I try to keep it up as much as I can because I want to help my healers out. I want to help the raid out, and that should be your job. Now the movement is very. You just have to be quick. You have to be proactive. You can't just expect that okay, the healer's gonna heal me because you're a Death Knight. You can heal yourself, bro. You have so many things that can heal yourself. So you can see here, you have Rune Tap, and you can summon a ghoul and eat your ghoul with Death Pact. So there's that, and then there's Army also, which if we look here, Army, it reduces damage. So you share the damage with yourself and the ghouls, so that you have a lot of ways to keep yourself alive. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it, and everything's here. If you guys have any more questions, just feel free to shoot a comment or send a message.